He doesn't go to very many camps. It's just something that's not part of what we do. I'm not a big scout rivals, go to the camp, to go to the open and do all that. I'm just not. But because this was Ohio State, a school who offered him, much like Nebraska, we felt the need that it was important for him to come out here and at least show them something that they know that they're not just getting a guy, you know, just a kid that can't necessarily play football. So you come out, you do whatever you do, and that's pretty much it.
We saw you in Maryland, you know, 6 months ago. You had a lot of great things to say about Ohio State. Obviously, you've seen what they've done with Mike and his development, but in general, why is Ohio State a program that's going to be and continue to stay right in the thick of things with your son?
Well, I think, number one, I think when you look at programs as a whole, hold on. Oh, that's right. That's fine. I think when you look at things as a whole, you have to know that from a history standpoint, Ohio State is one of, you know, I always talk to people about schools. I say there's probably about 6 programs in the country that's going to always be that way, and Ohio State's one. Then there's the USCs, and then there's the Nebraskas, and for all intents and purposes, as you guys would like to say, the school up north. I mean, those are programs that's going to always be solid and sustained and be great. You know, and in that situation, you know what you have in a coach who's won multiple national championships. You know, the academics is good. You know, you see what they've been able to do with my nephew and turn everything around with him. So you feel comfortable in those situations like that. We're not a family that feels like our kids got to stay home in our own backyard. We can afford to travel. Some families don't have that luxury, but God blessed me to be able to have that luxury. So if a school is away from Southern California, then we can travel.
That was my next question, Keyshawn. As he gets older, being in LA,
he ain't making the choice on what school he's going to go to. If that's what you want.
No. As he gets older, though, USC obviously with your past is where I was going, and just being from LA and whatnot. Do things change for a kid like that? Just kind of being in that area, given what you accomplished.
No, I don't think. I think as he starts to develop and get a little bit older and really understand what the pressures are, because I don't think he's still so mentally young that he doesn't really understand the whole aspect of everything. He thinks the Twitter world is the world, and he thinks that what somebody write on a blog is the world, and that's not really the world, whether we want to believe that or not. He just has to continue to work, not worry about I went to USC or worry about Mikey going to Ohio State or somebody else going somewhere else. He has to know whatever program that he chooses, that it's the best for him and what it is. Now, there's going to be situations for me where I'm not going to let him choose certain programs. It's just not going to happen, because I know too much about, the good thing about it is I know too much. And I know when a coach is going to get fired and when he's going to get hired and when he's looking for a new job. And I know all that. So for us, that's important. That's the luxury about being in the position I'm in. I know when a guy's going to get fired, you know. So it's like, why even consider that school when I have a new coach? Or that coach isn't going to be there by the time you're a sophomore in college. He'll probably be gone. So all of those sorts of things have to factor into you making a decision on what school you want to go to.
Who are the schools that are in the mix with him? The ones that you guys are most serious about?
He's going to release his top 8 schools probably in the next 30 minutes. You know, so he did, I believe, 12 schools in the spring, and now it's going to dwindle down to 8. Then over the course of the season, those 8 schools will be watched closely, and by the end of the year, we'll know who's going where and what, because that's going to be big. You know, if you pick a school and all of a sudden that coach is leaning to do something different or it doesn't look too good, you're doing it for nothing. So you want to be careful.
How much of an impact does Mike have, his development, your relationship with him, and Keyshawn's relationship with him? I mean, is there any connection there with him? I mean, obviously, just seeing the way he's grown and what he's become.
You get the experience factor. You get the firsthand experience factor. You know what the program's all about. You have an inside mold, to say the least, that can tell you what the intel is saying. So that helps, because he's going to tell us the truth. He's not going to say go to Ohio State for his own, you know, liking. He'll say either don't come or. And I haven't even asked him that question. Should you go to Ohio State? I haven't even gotten there. But I think, you know, obviously Ohio State is one of the top schools. I mean, they're not. We wouldn't be here. I mean, they'll be in the 8 if that's the answer to the question. You know, but it'll be fun. You know, it'll be fun, and you know, it's good competition. Ohio State's going to always be good like Florida was under Urban Meyer and like SC was under Pete Carroll. It's always going to have players to choose from. So that's the great part about it.
I wanted to ask you about, I saw you on the sideline with Troy, or not Troy, I'm sorry, with Braxton, pardon me. He's making an interesting decision to go to receiver. You obviously know that position about as well as anybody knows. Can you explain the transition, how difficult that could be? Obviously, you know him as an athlete.
Well, I don't think it's as difficult as most people would try to make it out to be. He's doing it early enough in his next phase of his potential pro career where he's not all of a sudden trying to play quarterback and then moving to the receiver spot 4 years into the NFL. He's trying to learn the nuances about it now. From what I understand, reading and getting information from the Ohio media, it's not certain that he's going to play strictly wide receiver. I think it's going to be a part of, from what I understand reading, it's going to be a part of what they do, which makes sense to me because he's such a dynamic athlete. He's probably the best athlete in all of college football if I was betting my money on it, that he can play multiple positions. And if that's the case, then that's a weapon. You can do all sorts of tricky things with that weapon, and the fact that he's even on the field will give you a second option, a third option. It makes defensive coordinators stay up all night long to even think what they possibly can do.